Hi there again. Welcome to a little bit of release and balance. So come down, start on your back, bringing your knees up into your chest like we normally do. Hold on to the knees softly, let your head and shoulders relax, and just have a soft rock across your back, side to side. So this program today is about giving the joints a little bit of room to move, creating some mobility, creating some stretch. Tiniest little bit of work for the legs, but bringing nice stability with that. And then circling your knees round and round. Keeping that just as relaxed. Change direction, circle the other way. And then gently bringing both knees into the centre, holding on to just your right knee. Let your left leg relax out long on the floor there. Breathe in and give that right knee a squeeze in towards your chest. Breathing out. Then just partially releasing that squeeze, so not completely, so there's still a little bit of a hip squeeze happening. And very carefully shift that knee to the right a little bit more, so you're squeezing more towards your right shoulder than the centre of your chest. Keep that partial squeeze happening, shift the knee back to the centre. And again, carefully take it back towards that right shoulder. What we're after here is maybe a bit of a sense of compression through the front of that right hip. And just do one or two more of those like that. Just carefully shifting the knee from the centre towards the shoulder and back again. Keeping that careful squeeze happening the whole time, not as hard as you can possibly squeeze, but still so that there's that little bit of compression happening in the hip. And then let that leg relax, give it a bit of a wriggle and a shake out on the floor. Then bring the left knee up, hold on with both hands, breathing in, and again, a good squeeze into your chest, breathing out. Don't overwork the arms and shoulders here, just keep the shoulders themselves relaxed. So reduce that squeeze just a little. Carefully shift the knee left this time, so it's squeezing more towards your left shoulder. Again, carefully bring it back to centre, keeping that little bit of a squeeze happening. And just another, maybe 3 of those careful shifts to the left, back to the centre again. So again, we're compressing the front of the left hip here. You might be getting a bit of a stretch around your seat bone, around through the glute muscles. You may not. Maybe just one more shift. Then bring that knee carefully back to the centre and let it release. Give it a stretch out on the floor, and again, bit of a wriggle and a loosen off. And then we'll do just a nice basic resting twist. So bring both feet up flat on the floor there, feet together, knees together, arms resting just comfortably out from your sides on the floor. So there's no tension in the shoulders, arms are completely relaxed. Then breathing in and letting your knees roll softly over to the right. If you like, you can turn your head to the left and let yourself relax and soften. So nice easy breathing. If the knees slip out of alignment a little bit here, that's okay, let that happen. Another few breaths. softly roll your knees and your head back to the center where we started. Breathing in and then letting the knees come softly to the left. If you like, turning your head to the right, and again softening and relaxing. Gentle, easy breathing, just letting your back release into that position. And carefully again, bringing the knees, your head back to the center, breathing in, and just letting yourself settle back into the floor there to breathe out. So I'm just going to shift and change that twist just a little. So very carefully bring both knees up towards your chest, so the feet are up off the floor this time. Bring your arms right out wide from your shoulders, so the hands are out level with your shoulders. And then we're going to bend the elbows and bring the backs of your hands to the floor. So your arms are in a bit of a stick 'em up cowboy type position, or a cactus arms type position there. Then breathing in, very carefully take your knees over to the right. Breathing out. Now see if you can leave that left arm and shoulder on the floor where it is there. That'll be quite a decent stretch through that shoulder, across the front of the chest on that side into the pectoral muscle. Very softly take your right hand and just rest it on top of your right knee, just a light touch there. Again, just 2 or 3 easy, slow breaths. Your head is resting wherever it's most comfortable. Then gently bring that right arm back onto the floor into that cactus arm position. Use your abdominal muscles here. Focus on the action through your waist. We're going to carefully bring your knees back to where they started, back up over your chest in the center. Breathe in and then take them all the way over to the left. Let them settle and breathe out. So that right arm is still out on the floor in that cactus arm position there. Arm and shoulder as relaxed as it can be. Very softly bring that left hand just to touch your knees there. Nice gentle touch. Another few breaths. And carefully bringing that left hand back onto the floor into that cactus arm position. Again, focus or be aware of the work happening through the muscles around your waist. Carefully bring those knees back up to the center over your chest. Breathe in and let your feet come softly back to the floor. Let those arms relax as you breathe out. And then one more time, very gently bringing your knees up into your chest. Hold on to the knees and have a soft rock across your back, side to side. And then letting your feet come down to the floor, very softly rolling over onto one elbow and bringing yourself all the way back up to sit. Very good. Give the shoulders a little wriggle. Just give yourself a second to become upright again after laying on the floor. And then we're going to come all the way over into cat. So come over onto all fours, knees under your hips, wrists under your shoulders, and we'll do our nice normal cat warm-up movement. So softly letting your spine dip and relax towards the floor. Float your chin up a little to breathe in. Then let your head float down, rounding up softly the other way. Breathing out. Dipping again, lifting the chin, breathing in. Head floats down, rounding up softly, breathing out. And just keep that going, following the pace of your breath, keeping the movement nice and easy nice and soft. One or two more. And then relaxing back into the center. So now we're going to focus on a little bit more action through the shoulders themselves rather than the spine, but it can appear to be a little bit similar, but we're focusing on the movement of the shoulders and the shoulder blades. So keeping the middle of your spine and your back nice and stable, push down into the floor and see if you can allow your shoulder blades to separate and your upper back between the shoulder blades to round up a little. And then reverse that. Let your chest sink towards the floor, but keep the rest of the spine stable. You feel your shoulder blades squeezing together at the back. And keep that going. Pushing away from the floor, shoulders come forward, upper back opens up, and as you sink down, you feel those shoulder blades squeezing together again. And just keep that going carefully and steadily. What we're doing is focusing on a protraction as you push away from the floor and a retraction of the shoulders as you sink. Now the arms stay reasonably straight, so you're not bending the elbows, you're not doing a push-up. The action is just through the shoulders themselves. Maybe just one more each way. This is building strength and stamina in the shoulders. And when you've done those, have a sit back off the hands. Maybe give those wrists just a little bit of a roll around and a relax. And then we're going to start to warm up through the legs and the core muscles just a little bit more. So come over into cat again. Knees under the hips, wrists under the shoulders. This time we're going to tuck your toes under on the floor. We're going to keep your back nice and stable. We're going to come into that same protracted shoulder position. So push away from the floor, feel the shoulder blades separate at the back, and then lift the knees a couple of inches and bring them back down again. And just do 4 or 5 careful lifts with the knees like that. So this is warming up and weight bearing through the arms, through the shoulders. There's a little bit of core stability required. And those big muscles in the legs, the big quad muscles through the thighs are warming up as well. Maybe just one more. And relax. When you've done that, let the feet relax. Take your bottom back to your heels. Have a little resting pose of a child. So make your arms, make your shoulders comfortable. Head resting on your hands or on the floor, whatever feels good. Then we've got a short sequence to do to work the legs, the hips, give the back a nice stretch as well. So very gently, take your hands right out long in front. Make sure your knees are hip width apart. We're going to tuck your toes under at the back and then carefully lift up into downward dog. So straightening the knees, come all the way up and let those heels sink back towards the floor underneath you. Just allowing yourself to settle there. Give yourself a breath or two. Head and neck nice and relaxed and loose. And very carefully, we're going to step the right foot forward between your hands. So bring that right foot all the way up on the floor between your hands. Settle yourself into a lunge there. Beautiful. Then carefully turn on that left foot. Bring that left foot flat on the floor. Make sure you're still nice and deep into that lunge through that right knee. And we're going to windmill all the way up into a warrior pose. So float that left hand up forward towards the ceiling. Bring your spine up tall. Stay in the lunge. And arms come out softly wide to each side. Now settle yourself here. Let the shoulders come down. Let your legs find their stability and their steadiness. Beautiful. Then very carefully bend that right elbow. Come to rest it down on that right knee. Then we're going to take that left hand down towards the floor, down towards your hip first, and then draw a slow circle all the way through, following it with your nose. Come all the way up to the ceiling and down again. And just do some slow, careful circles with that left arm. And just be aware of the rotation that's happening through your rib cage as you do that. Legs are staying steady. You can add a breath if you like, breathing in as that arm comes tall. Carefully breathing out as it circles down. One more. This time as the hand circles down, bring it all the way down onto the floor. Bring that right hand back down onto the floor as well. I'm going to do a little twist while we're here. So carefully turning onto the toes on that left foot again. Have your left hand flat on the floor. We're going to float your right arm now wide from your shoulder and then turn your rib cage up to the right, looking up along that arm towards the ceiling. Breathe in and then bring that hand carefully back to the floor, squaring over your knee again to breathe out. We're doing a careful plank pose from here. So stepping that right foot back in line with the left one, feet are about hip width apart, and you bring your body down in a nice, careful, steady, straight line. Breathe in, knees come onto the floor, you relax your feet and let yourself soften all the way down onto the floor. Then a careful cobra pose from here. So hands are softly under your shoulders on the floor, shoulders roll back gently. You squeeze into your bottom and then carefully float your rib cage up off the floor, breathing in. Don't straighten the arms completely. And soften all the way down again. Breathing out. Then a bit of a larger move here. We're going to come from here all the way up to downward dog again. So tuck the toes under at the back, hands are underneath your shoulders. It's a little bit of a push-up action, and then you lift the hips and let your heels sink back towards the floor underneath you there. Then we're going to repeat that sequence on the opposite side. So very carefully, bringing your left foot all the way forward between your hands this time. Settle yourself into that lunge. Breath or two here. Then turning that right foot so it's flat on the floor, nice and stable. And we're going to windmill all the way up to a warrior pose. So float the right hand forward up to the ceiling, bring your spine up to the center, arms out wide, and settle yourself in to your warrior pose there. Another breath or two, feeling that nice steadiness through the legs. When you're ready, bending that left elbow, resting it down on the left knee. Then that right hand comes down towards your hip. You circle it through the floor. Watch it as it floats to the ceiling, all the way up and around. And we'll do 4 or 5 more really slow circles like that. Don't go too fast. Be aware of that rotation and movement through the rib cage as you come through. And if you want to add a breath, you're breathing in as you lift the hand, breathing out as it's floating down. 2 more. Last one. And as the hand comes down, we bring it back down onto the floor. Left hand comes down to the floor as well. Then we're going to turn onto the toes on that right foot again. Right hand flattens onto the floor and we do a twist. So left arm floats out wide from your shoulder. You turn your rib cage up to the left. Look up along that arm towards the ceiling. Breathing in. Carefully bring the hand back to the floor to breathe out. Again, a plank pose here. So left foot steps back in line with your right one. Body comes down nice and level and steady. Breathe in. Knees come onto the floor. Relax your feet and just soften all the way down onto your tummy. Hands are gently in underneath your shoulders there. One last cobra pose. So roll the shoulders back softly. Squeeze into your bottom. And just float your rib cage softly up off the floor. Breathe in. And gently ease back down again. Breathing out. And then instead of a downward dog this time, we'll rest back in pose of a child. So lifting your bottom all the way back towards your heels. Walk your knees under a little more if you need to, and you can open out the knees a little wider if it's more comfortable. And then let your arms relax, let your head rest on the floor, and allow yourself to relax. Now if that's not comfortable, you can bring your hands underneath your forehead. You can have your arms back beside your knees and legs if you prefer. Whatever's most comfortable. Just 2 or 3 more. Nice, easy, soft breaths. And then gently bringing your hands in underneath your shoulders, slowly unrolling, bringing your spine up nice and easy. Give those shoulders a big roll back, and then carefully come around to sit back onto your bottom and just find a nice comfortable position for your legs. You don't have to have the legs crossed, just be comfortable through your hips and legs and through your spine. Then we're going to bring your right hand onto your left knee and your left hand over the top onto your right. And cross those arms fairly deeply as you're doing that. And very softly let your chin roll down. And carefully let your head droop a little heavier. You feel your upper back round. So it's a controlled, careful slump through your back. And then we're going to carefully unwind. So bringing your head back up carefully. Start to bring your arms up like you're taking off a jumper. So arms raise and uncross all the way up to the ceiling. Breathe in and let them relax down to breathe out. And then we'll bring that left hand onto your right knee, right hand over the top onto your left. And we'll do that one more time. So keep the arms crossed deeply. Let your chin roll down. Let your upper back and shoulders round out. And then gently uncurl and unroll. Arms coming up like you're taking off a jumper. Big breath in as the arms stretch tall. And relaxing completely. Breathing out. And then just one more thing to do while we're here. Come around so that your legs are stretched out long in front of you on the floor. Make sure you're sitting up tall on the seat bones. Your spine is up nice and tall as well. Feet are probably just an inch or 2 apart, maybe hip width apart. Then just carefully tuck your hands underneath the backs of your knees and just draw your heels towards you. So you've got a reasonably decent bend in your knees there. You're flexing your ankles towards you, so don't let the feet collapse down. Your ankles are flexed, but your toes aren't pulling back madly. So toes themselves are relaxed, the work's happening at the ankle joint here. Sitting up nice and tall through your spine, bring your hands into your chest at the front. And then carefully slide your fingers up towards your chin, then come around the back of your neck behind your ears and bring those palms all the way up towards the ceiling above you. Open out the hands to shoulder width, breathe in, and then hinge forward through your hips. And when you've gone as far as you can, let yourself soften and relax. So knees are still bent. You're using your thighs as a bit of support for your chest. Head and shoulders are relaxed. Then softly lifting your head, let your spine build up tall again. Give those shoulders a roll back. And then just take those heels just a couple of inches further forward. So you've still got a bend in the knees. The ankles are still flexing. We'll do that one more time. Hands coming to the front of your chest. Then hands slide up towards your chin. They come out around the back of your neck. Come together again as they come up tall. Keep the legs nice and stable. Let the hands open up softly. Breathe in. Again, you hinge forward through your hips. Arms don't move at first. When you get as far as you want to go, let yourself soften and relax. Just a breath or two here. Gently lifting your head, building your spine up nice and tall again. Give those shoulders a roll back and let those legs relax. Give them a wriggle. And come back to sit comfortably again. So bringing your hands in front. Breathe in. Just very softly let your chin roll down. Breathing out. And we are all done. I hope you feel a little bit stretched out and released. And gently unrolling, relaxing your hands. Thank you very much, and I will see you all again as soon as we are allowed. See you later.